to Saxthorpe Farms, and we are back at Saxthorpe Farms after the day down at the Oaks. Obviously made a ton of money and just getting the AgroStar unloaded from the truck. That was a really fun kind of distraction, going and doing all those contracts, and paid us a bunch of money. So when we get 3 days, definitely going to be doing that, and we'll do some contracting on here as well. It's just that there tends to be a lot more contracts on the Oaks because it's a bigger map, so we can make more money. But if we don't need to leave the area, we won't. We'll do them locally. I'm contemplating getting some grass working kit. See, we don't have any grass at the moment, but baling contracts are always worth doing. So I'm thinking about, we've got the square baler there. I mean, we could just get some mowers, a tedder and a windrow, and we could be able to do hay contracts, which would be open up some work for us. I don't think there are a huge amount of grass pastures on this map, but something that we could do, and we're going to need to in the future. I was very tempted with the cash that we have in the bank to buy the cow farm because we can afford it, but we need to focus on arable land a lot more first. So speaking of arable land, we need to get field 10 planted. So that's our last field to plant. As I said in previous videos, I was waiting until the start of May so that we have the whole month to plant, weed, and then roll, all in the same month, so we can get all 3 stages done that I want to get done before we get a growth state going. So yeah, that's going to be the next couple of videos. So it's quite a big field, and we have a huge weeder, but we have kind of an average size seeder, or average width seeder, and the roll is not the biggest in the world either. So I'm just swapping over the rear attachments so that we can plant some sorghum. So we're going to be messing around with tram lines again and proceed. So I'm going to make use of what I learned last time in terms of leaving the implement down but turning it off so that it doesn't overplant stuff, but it does still leave tram lines. It gives a better visual effect, although not being super real. I guess that's wrong. In the real world, they do create tram lines by using something like Proceed. I guess some of them are just established through driving through crops and stuff, and yeah. Anyway, let's get to work. So I'm not going to run automatic for application, because otherwise we'd be running backwards and forwards to the farm an awful lot. We're going to go for 18-meter tram lines again, so only the field that we planted with the demo kit is different. I'm not sure if we're going to need to spray that anyway, so we could be okay. I think it might need fur actually, but we could maybe do solid fur. So I think the breeders can have narrows on them, and that would work because the tram lines are at 24 meters and the breedle spreads to 30, so that might be a better option for getting fur on there. The rest of the fields I want to do liquid fur because I am going to do something I don't normally do, and we're going to use the crop scanner. I don't know if we can fit it to the AgroStar because I want to get the tractor mounted version rather than the front 3-point version. So just checking if we're getting the beeping. Just playing with that sound on. Looks like we're not, which is cool. I need to check if the 7 Series, either of the 7 Series, can have narrows on them to do the spraying, and technically we'll be running in tram lines, so it doesn't matter, but even so. So that's something that I do want to do this time. Not something I would normally do, but every field has pretty much got to be fertilized again anyway, so we might as well do it at the point where we can get perfect fertilization and get that tiny bit of extra yield. With the volume of arable that we're doing, I think it's going to be worth it. I think it will pay off in terms of across the farm extra yield. We've got to spray anyway, so we're not taking any more time, and the amount of extra fertilizer use is minimal, and over the course of however many years we play on here, we should end up recovering the cost of the add-on to the tractor. Actually, I'm not sure if, because I think they're all modded tractors, so none of them may support the add-on from Precision Farming. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. If not, I might have to go front 3-point, but that'd just be a bit annoying because we won't be able to have the front tank on. So we might have to refill a few times. Not the end of the world. We could maybe get Bowser to bring over to the field. That would work. That would work. I'm trying to think if there are any good Bowser mods about that do the ones that are base game do it? Oh, I'd have to have a look. Unless someone wants to recommend one for me, then that would be really cool. I'm going to say thank you to the patrons and the YouTube channel members at this point. Appreciate you guys all supporting the channel. Get that done nice and early for a change, so that more people see it. Yeah. I've had have spoken about the computer stuff that I've been doing, upgrading things, and over the week off I was moving a lot of data about, and ended up deleting an entire video before it was finished, which is fun. Thank you, Save Game Backups. I've managed to get most of the way back to where I should be, which is useful, you know. Those save game backups are very, very helpful. They used to annoy me. I used to go through and delete them quite frequently. I would just delete the whole contents of the directory when I used to. I don't know why, actually, because they don't take up much disk space. But yeah, I used to go through and delete them routinely to not have them cluttering up the folder. And actually, they're really useful. They're really, really useful. So. Not only if you do something dumb like that, but if you're playing and, you know, you've got autosave on, you place a building, you don't like it, you come out of the build menu and autosave kicks in. If you've got your save game backups, you can go grab one of those and you'll be good. So, yeah. I was not a happy man when I was looking for the footage last night, but hey ho. Clarity this morning reminded me of save game backups. So let's put our first tram line in. We're going to go from the entrance way, and then as I've been doing, I'm going to run 3 headlands around here. It kind of feels like I should maybe do 4 sometimes with the weird shaped fields, but we'll get away with 3, particularly with the laying turning on the cedar as we come out of establishing a new tram line. So yeah, should be okay. Should be okay. It's kind of weird. This cedar seam, you can obviously see it's doing stuff. It's doing seeding from the front, although the seed's applied at the back. But if you lower it down and the back's in an unseeded area, it also seeds the back. So I think it's got 2 work areas. So yeah, I'm about to turn the cedar off. There we go. I've gone a little bit too far, but we'll then pull in and try and create 1 tram line that's joined up. There we go. Yeah, I'm guessing the front does direct drill and the back does just drilling. I'm not sure if I think that, so I'm trying to remember the, along with this mod, there was the front tank, which, you know, you could get the front tank from the horse pack as well. I think you can run either of these just attached to a tractor with the tank, and it will do, I guess it will just do seeding. But yeah, so that is an option. That's an option I should remember for next year if we need to be planting more crops in a day, because I could then have both running. So, and it would be cheaper to buy the front tank than to buy another one of those units. But I think really I want to be targeting the new horse stuff, the 12-meter one, so like the one we had on lease. Maybe going to a 36-meter sprayer. So still 3 runs per tram line, but covering a lot more ground. So we have a lot less tram lines. You do lose crop with the tram lines. I'm not sure how much. I don't think it's that much. It's enough that if you're doing a seeding contract and you have the bright idea of putting tram lines into that because it'll look cool, you can't complete the contract. And it's kind of pointless anyway, because as soon as you complete the contract, Giants does the equivalent of easy dev over the field and the tram lines will vanish anyway. So, you know, there is that. I know because I've tried it on Armston, because I was doing tram lines on there, and I thought it would look cool if the NPC fields had tram lines as well. And it didn't, because they didn't have them, even though I spent ages putting tram lines in. And then I had to go back and take the tram lines out. Yeah. They are a really cool visual feature. Almost every field around here has them in. The cornfields are the only ones that don't, I think. I have spoken about this before. It's really hard to see above the cornfields now that the crops are established. From memory, they sprayed the corn before it was probably grown enough that it would matter. So yeah, just turning off the seeder. I accidentally raised it there, but we'll put it back to tramline mode. Turn it off and then pull into the existing tramline, and we get something that sort of works. In the US, obviously, in corn they will have row crop tires which fit between the rows. The local farmer here, from what I've seen, they don't swap wheels for things like that. So they have a pull behind sprayer, really old looking industrial thing. And so we're just going to pay off. I think, do I go for that one or the slightly smaller one? So much cash sitting in the bank, it seems sensible to pay one of the loans off. So we'll pay the smaller one off. Yeah, I think they were running the tractor on their normal tires, but it was quite a way off, so I couldn't really tell. One of the farmers does have a abatement, which I have seen driving about last year, but not this year. And we're going to pay another 150 off of the big loan as well. I'd forgotten that I did that. So we're down to £190,000 in debt, which is kind of cool. That's probably going to change in a few months, because as I said, the plan is when we get close to harvest, we are going to go poach a field. Well, we're going to go buy a field that's got a crop in it. We'll do it a month or two before harvest, so that if we need to, we can fertilize and maybe lime, and ignore the fact that I'm kind of crashing through the hedges and stuff. It's fine. It's fine. So we've got a lot of the field done. We've got this little corner up top and a couple of runs on the bottom. To be honest, it didn't take as long as I expected. I thought this was going to be at least a whole day job, if not more. We are getting low on fertilizer, and I think I do end up running out before I finish the field, but because we've got spray anyway and it's such a small amount, I don't bother to go refill. Didn't feel like it was worth it. So I've got plenty of seed, so we'll get the field seeded, and we'll worry about fert when we come back in later on in the year. I need to remind myself at what point I need to spray with the crop scanner. It's pretty late. It's possibly going to be the state before harvest. So I need to be kind of awake as to keeping an eye on the crops as to when to bring the sprayer in to get perfectly perfect fertilizer. So. Just trying to think. No, I'm not going to talk about that. I had a bit of a whinge yesterday, the day before, about the new DLC that's coming, the Oxbow pack. I get the things like the slurry and manure applicators. They might work on a farm like this once we've got the cows. Because I assume they're quite efficient at covering ground. I'm still disappointed that there are 4 machines. That's ridiculous, I think. I've not checked the price, so I will do that now. I did see DJ had done a post on it, but I don't remember what he said. And yeah, I've not watched anyone else's content on it. So it's $4.99 at the moment because it's on sale. So it's a lot less than some of the others. Most of the others have been $9.99. So, but yeah, compared to the horse pack, it feels like a lot less value, I think. Not that I'm going to buy it because it's part of the season pass, which I've already paid for. But anyway, yeah, maybe I'll use some of the big kit. I've not used the one that's base game, so the one that was rebranded to Oxbow in the last update. I've not used that. I don't think ever. I think I've only ever seen one person use it, which was Daggerwin in his first Let's Play on Ubaloo, which I believe translates into Obeleron in normal people speak. Yeah, I think he's the only person I've ever seen use it, so we will just get these last couple of little bits, and then we've got the other end of the field to finish. Keep going, keep going. You've got a tram line to finish. I think I was really tempted to stop there and just back up and do that last little chunk. So yeah, we'll get the sprayer in here. I do think the other field, I can't remember what number it is, the newest field that was brought, which is further up the map, we'll get some narrows on one of the breedles and do the foot with that, because that will save us changing the sprayer, because we currently have 18 meter booms on the sprayer and we would need to upgrade to 24. So I think it makes sense that we do it that way. And then, let's say in the future, we'll look at getting a 12 meter cedar end planter and a 36 meter sprayer. I mean, we could go to the 36 meter sprayer even with the 6 meter ones, because it's still a multiple of 6. So that would be okay. It would just be an even multiple, which is not so good. So we've just run out of foot. Even multiples are fine on up down rows. On headlands, they're a bit of a pain. You have to do what I did in the field where I used the bigger cedar, and you have to do the first one with half of it switched off. Once you've done that, it's fine. Otherwise you end up missing a bit, and you could be leaving a nice boundary to keep the birds and things safe in the hedgerows when you're spraying. We have quite good field margins here, so I think we can just go all the way up to the edge if we need to do that. So we'll be good, hopefully. So this week for me was, again, we're doing the same thing, we're turning cedar off. This week for me was meant to involve a lot of traveling and lots of meetings, and thankfully pretty much all of that got cancelled. I had yesterday I was in meetings all day, but all of the traveling got cancelled. One of the days full of meetings has been postponed. which was kind of nice for kind of first week back. Originally, I was looking at starting back work on Monday and getting in the car and driving across the country. So yeah, it's kind of nice to not have to do that. I think I'm trying to check the environmental score. There we go. Yeah, so we're doing okay. We're going up, which is good. Obviously, it's going to get better once we've done a harvest where we've done everything. So the nitrogen value will stay low until we've harvested. Same with the pH. Weed control is improving as we do stuff. So, and again, we will sneak into the fields with See and Spray and hit them with no herbicide to boost that as well. I think our income from the farm is going to make that, we're going to cross that trade over point of about £2 million, at least in the years that we'll be playing, because we've got a lot of land to buy. So we are going to make that money back quite easily. So in our situation, I think it's worth paying for See and Spray. We've already got the sprayer actually, so we're only looking at spending about 30 grand to add it, so it's not as much. The £2 million, I've just ruined one of the tram lines. The £2 million calculation was based on spending 90 grand for the John Deere sprayer with See and Spray, so we're not having to spend that much because we've already got the sprayer. We needed that earlier on in the first year to fertilize the crops that we had. I think we might have done some herbiciding as well, I can't remember. So yeah, it's not so much of an investment, and it is going to pay off, I think. But almost done. A little bit to go. I say this was quicker than I had expected. But as we get more and more land, I do want to increase our ability to cover ground quickly so that we can get through things, because, you know, it's not so much that I don't enjoy spending a long time doing jobs. It's that if I end up spending 2 or 6 in-game days doing the same process, you guys are going to get bored, or I have to skip a lot of it. So the better option for me is if I can increase the speed, and, you know, that could be 12-meter kit that I've spoken about. That could be just enabling us to be able to run both tractors seeding with 6-meter. So we're definitely going to need a bigger tractor to run 12 meters. And that's maybe going to be the quad track that I've spoken about from here. We'll see. I've got other plans for the older quad track, so that might not work with having one on here as well, but there are lots of other big tractors we can have a play with. The 9 series might be big enough, not sure. If not, we might go for some sort of tracked tractor, you know, nice 2-track, which I do enjoy. And we could maybe get a Fendt resprayed into Deutz Green. Don't tell anyone, but, you know, that might be fun. Or any other tractor, to be fair. So I think we've got one more tiny strip to go. Yep, maybe 2. Might be 2. Yeah, I don't think I put a tram line in the last bit because it is such a small amount. We'll see. I've recorded this almost a week ago now, with being on holiday and stuff. I think maybe not, actually, maybe not. I just don't remember. So it's the downside of recording and then leaving footage sat, and then occasionally you delete it, as I said. But yeah, seed lasted okay. Only a few strips where we didn't have fert, which is not a problem. The spraying with liquid fert will cover that, no problem. And it's kind of nice not to just do it in one pass, I think. And you can, you know, you can plant and fert in a single pass and just leave the field then. This field does need weeding and rolling, but beyond that, you could then just leave it until harvest and you'd be good. But I'm trying to break the process down a little bit, just to have things to do. There we go. That is that field planted. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, click the like button. Comments, questions or suggestions, leave them below. and I will see you next time.